dinner and it's almost getting late for dinner. Please enjoy your dinner, a sumptuous one, and God bless you. We'll see tomorrow. I understand.
That is the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And of course, when they are doing marriage for their children and all of that, okay, you see all of the governors, you see all of the politicians, they are there. They are bringing gifts. They are giving their children appointments. They are letting them to say love by approving their children who never really practices law. But since they just left law school, they put them straight on the queue to be judges and approved by the Judicial Council of Nigeria. Chidi Odikalu have more to tell us about the rotten Nigeria judiciary. This is just so you know that this month, in another 2 weeks, the Nigeria Tribunal, Presidential Election Tribunal, they will deliver a judgment that has already been written. But before they do that, you are going to begin to see a lot of people telling you, gaslighting you, that you must accept the final judgment of the court, even when they refuse to follow their own constitution. We are coming to that part. Chidi, and the video is actually the credit of Sahara Reporters, by the way. It's an interview. Not an interview. It's actually like a delivery. You say, Chidi, tell us more about this rotten Nigeria judiciary for the record.
The NJC goes through a process of provisioning, clearing provisioning for the judges. You've got to have the court halls, the salary, the vehicles, the basic provisions for their operations. They cleared 15. The circular was clear. They nominated 34. Of that 34, all but 11 were sons, daughters, mistresses of particular individuals. In one particular case, the original list was 33. I wrote the letter. I signed it in my name. I was not anonymous, so I can tell the story of what transpired. There were 33 nominees. Then a senior judicial figure who was about to leave the bench put his mistress in there, making them 34. She had not been interviewed. She had not gone through the process. And I wrote to President Buhari, to his credit. He listened and suspended the appointment of all of the people that we objected to. So he cleared the appointment of 11. And then something extraordinary happened. A senior justice of the Supreme Court was retiring and managed to get the NJC to bring back the list of those people who had been suspended. And the people who opposed that list were persuaded not to attend the meeting of the NJC. And this particular senior justice had their child in there, got the list approved, rushed to the president, all of them were appointed. They are now sitting on the bench, including the daughter of Justice Bulkachua and Senator Adamu Bulkachua. So judicial appointments have been totally captured. Politicians and judges make up and take up the appointments. And members of the NJC, if you give me the list of appointments, I will tell you who put the name in there. All I need is make not more than 3 calls. I will tell you whose candidate is on the list. From where? When you get to that point, to a point where good people, irrespective of where they come from, but suitable candidates can no longer make it to the bench, you know you're in trouble. And that is where we are. But it is not just because suitable candidates can no longer make it to the bench, and politicians now have decided that in order to have a successful political career, you need to carry a judge in your back pocket and in your bedroom. It is that to be able to proceed to anything in the country, judges and politicians decide what happens. So politicians no longer need our votes to become governors and presidents and legislators. They now need to settle judges only. It did not start today. If you want to know the origins, please go and read the Babalaki report. In the Commission of Inquiry into FEDECO, which reported in 1986. And if you don't have it, I can PDF my version. It's a little big. I'll make it available to the but every lawyer interested in a country that works and judicial system that works needs to read the Babalakin report, because that is where the story of judicial corruption in politics was actually fully recorded. And I cite some of it in my written remarks. But it has been on since then. And in my written remarks, when you see it, you can check the footnotes as to some of the stories that have transpired from the Aramio constituency in 1979 elections down to Justice Ebuebu at the beginning of this millennium. But because this has a long history, we need to be able to reflect the memory. And having reflected that memory, then where are we right now? So this is how I start ending, because the story we have is a story of two things, or three things, as I said. One is hubris. The people who have captured the political system and captured the judiciary dare you to go to court because they'll tell you, we own the judges. They're in our bedrooms. They're in our houses. We own them. You are not going to get anything. That is the story of hubris. There's also the story of mirth. They laugh at you, knowing that the courts are useless. And why are the courts useless? I don't believe that there is anyone here who does not know the case of Mojeku and Mojeku. And it is taught in family law, gender, human rights of women, constitutional law, and celebrated. Go to court happened to Caroline Mojeku. Caroline Mojeku was a widow. Her husband died in 1962. She started litigating in 1966, before the Nigerian Civil War. The Nigerian Civil War ended in 1970. She was still in court. 1976, 10 years later, she was still in court. 1986, Caroline Mojeku was a widow. 25 years going, she was still in court. 1990 happened. Berlin Wall fell. Caroline Mojeku was in court. 1996, 30 years later, Caroline Mojeku was still in court. She had finished Beijing. 30 years later, Mojeku and Mojeku took 31 years to come to decision. And law teachers teach it without looking at the metrics of decision making. 31 years for a widow. Go to court happened to her. Because let's think about ourselves as the man who died, and think of Caroline Mojeku as our wife. Raise your hand if you would want your wife to litigate for 31 years after you are dead in order to get to your estate for your children. Raise your hand, please. Nobody can contemplate that, because most widows don't live to 31 years. That is a story of mirth, because we as lawyers argue for access to court. Very few of us argue for exit from court. And access to court is not nearly as important as timely exit from court. And these days, how many years does it take to go to court, to get through high court litigation?
Thank you, Chidi. There's so much he had to say. In fact, there's so much he said in that clip, but because of our time as well. But did you get that message? While the rest of you are trying to figure out if Nigeria will get it right one day, someday, these criminals, they are recreating themselves in the important institutions in Nigeria because they see this as a lifetime career, the lifetime career of ruining your lives. And to do that successfully, you can continue to vote, and they will continue to rig it, and they will continue to tell you to go to court. And when you go to that court, their children, their wives, their girlfriends, their man friend, and the rest of them have been fixed in your judicial system to delay you, to compromise your case, and get it all watered down just to keep them in that power. Your election won't elect governors. Should I say, It is not your elections that are electing governors in Nigeria. Not your elections electing presidents in Nigeria. That's why those of them who are going into this, they usually what? Go and get ready. There, for maybe it's going to always end in court. And the courts, who are those controlling the courts? Even senators, they have daughters, they have sons who have already become judges. And they will be there to decide on your political cases. How do you fight that? You don't fight it. You destroy it. That's what you do. How do you destroy that? Of course, destroying it starts from here. The moment it doesn't make any sense to you anymore, a day soon is going to come where you are actually going to be called upon for the total destruction of this establishment. But the road to that is where they are taking everybody now. Somebody had this to say.
Well, the Tribunal has delivered the judgment in respect of the petition filed by the Benjamin Okuolu, the Labour Party candidate.
Something happened recently, and I felt so bad, and my heart bleeds for this country. Remember, about 4 days ago, we had the news that there was another coup in Gabon. We saw the flash, and I forwarded to a few friends that are close to me. Someone responded, of course, I won't mention the name, that I wish that the coups in Gabon can come into Nigeria and help us with our situation. But you see, I also listened to what President Jonathan said recently, that we should all be careful in this country, particularly politicians, that the young ones know their rights to the extent that anything can happen. And what happened during the EndSARS, they almost got there. Now, I also listened to Babangida. If you look at, I think, AIT, you will see every now and then his interview with the press. And he was narrating and chronicling the reasons why in most jurisdictions coup d'etats do come up. One, principally because of corruption, and also probably because of electoral rigging. Well, like we were told by the keynote speaker, or the guest speaker, or the guest may you see, coup or war, it's like football. You don't know who will win and who will lose. It's like biscuit, you don't know where it will crack. Anybody can be the victim. Nobody should wish for any coup or any war. And even what happened in the past, in the 60s, we are yet to come out of that. So the effect is still colossal, negative effect for that matter. So this is my feeling about that. We were told by Abraham Lincoln that the best way or the fastest way to destroy a nation is by dividing it. I don't think any one of us here would like Nigeria to be divided. Nobody will wish Nigeria to be divided, despite the fact that we've been told the history of how the colonial masters brought us together, now under one geographical entity called Nigeria, despite all kinds of differences. But that notwithstanding, we as believers in our destinies, we still accept being together, and I think we should work on being together. After all, we all hail from God, from the same Adam and Eve, despite whatever primordial differences we may be having.
Yes. A lot of people believe that if the judiciary in Nigeria, or should we start with the tribunal? If the tribunal in Nigeria comes back to say, even though if your constitution says this, but the interpretation of that constitution is different, all right? And despite all of this evidence presented and all that, if they come back that they are not enough, and then they now declared the whole process legit, and Tinubu is elected, which is actually what is now causing a bit of, maybe not a bit, a massive fear within that camp. What is likely going to happen? If the court says, all this your FCT thing, no matter again. All this drug dealing, all this evidence of a forgery and all of that, they no matter again. So at that point, is it going to be an official? It's going to be like official now. Nigeria constitution doesn't matter. Would you feel like that's official now? Like, let all laws be broken because there seems to be none. Or you are just going to possibly melt away as soon as no one died. You know what I mean? There are so many questions, so I'm not daring you. You will dare yourselves because I have seen and I've heard. And I've actually seen the people right there on the streets. And the reason why I'm beginning to understand the everyday gaslighting messages coming from the Nigeria Judiciary and APC. You haven't noticed. They have started it already. When you talk about judiciary, and you say judiciary better follow the constitution, and at this at this rate, nobody can begin to use technicality nonsense to deceive anybody anymore. If they then decided to trample on the constitution of Nigeria, they just gave everybody the free tickets to trample on it. Abi, I'm just saying, as you are saying all of that, Tinubu and his own people are also saying, if you try any nonsense, the military will shoot you and they will kill you and nothing will happen. That is where the idea of NSAS will be a child's play when this whole thing will go down. Because according to them, the judiciary have the power to say, to rule on the case. But what is the judiciary going to rule on other than the evidence presented before them? Is it going to be about the emotion? Is it going to be about the national security for the unity of Nigeria and blah, 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 other old ways, which I believe they are going to be like, their judgment is going to be on that. So would people just kind of have no choice? Or all of them now go wait for the Supreme Court? I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, what's going to be the reactions afterward? The legitimizing of Tinubu's rigging? We'll find out in the next 12 days or 13 days or 14 days max. We'll find out. Because you know something? They believe that power is not served a la carte, okay, in a restaurant. You have to what? You have to grab it, you have to steal it, and you have to run with it. That's exactly what power is all about. And if you don't understand that, you think the court will save you, then you are dreaming. And you are saying, fine, we know you, we know that's what you do. But you better get ready. I mean, like ready, okay? Because we want to see the base. On what basis would the judiciary now say, Kalu has done nothing wrong? You have all been chasing shadow. The constitution of Nigeria is supreme. Therefore, Kalu has violated nothing. What will be your reactions? Because you know something? The whole world is watching, especially the West. They are not talking, They continue to pretend that everything is okay, And I know things is about to get, shit is about to hit the fan. How it's going to end, I don't know. But I can bet it. In the next 2 weeks, we'll find out. We will find out. Now, going a little bit forward. Somebody, Alilu.
As an individual, a Nigerian, of course, at my own age, at 69 plus, I wish to make a statement on this presidential election appeal tribunal with the decision to pass judgment on 16 September 2023. It has taken so long, and this has given room for a lot of statements and unwholesome statements. I expect that future elections should not take long for us to know the winner. But it creates tension for the country. Tension for those who are for the president, tension for those who are against the president. I appeal to Nigerians, the INEC, and the thinkers of this country to make sure that they amend the law to make sure that any election that holds, appeals should be concluded. All appeals should be concluded before swearing in, because it's better for the country. I wish peaceful transition to that day when we will hear the judgment.
No, it's not going to happen, because that's going to work against them. You cannot rush us. Election issue, take time. Don't rush us, okay? If Kenya did it, that's Kenya. If Eritrea did it, that's Eritrea. This is Nigeria. It takes time. Don't rush our Lord justices. Criminal bunch of old rogues who probably just don't have an idea. There are good judges, so make I just probably just say that for the sake of not using one single blanket on all of them. Okay? The way you will know if you still have any judge or justice anywhere that has a conscience is to pay attention to what is going to happen in the next 12 days in Nigeria. There are five of them. I'll see if I still have all their names here. So to read that for the record, 5 judges or justices, they will call them, in Nigeria. Right. You have, they have Justice Haruna Samani. I think that's the head. You have Justice Stephen Ada. You have Monsurat Bolaji Yusuf. You have Moses Hugo and Abba Mohammed, 5 of them. Now, the way things always goes is this. All of them will write their own judgment. Do you understand that? The 5 judges for the tribunal, they are all going to write their own judgment on the case. Each one of them will write their judgment, will write his own judgment or a judgment on Atiku versus Tinubu and INEC, and Shettima and APC. Same with Peter Obi versus Tinubu, Shettima, Shettima, APC, and INEC. Now, in their judgment, when they will start delivering them, each of them will read their own judgment. Okay? They will read and say, okay, out of 5 justices, the way you will know who is the winner from all of this is this. Out of 5 justices, if all of them write that, I'm just saying all of them now, writes that Atiku did not satisfy or prove his case, that Tinubu did not qualify, Tinubu should be disqualified, Tinubu this or that, and all of those stuffs, right? If all of them says Atiku didn't prove anything, that would be a unanimous decision to throw out Atiku's case against APC, Shettima, Tinubu, and INEC. So in their own ruling, you can go and read why and how they arrived at that judgment. Unanimous, they call it, it's unanimous. But if out of let's say 5 of them individually write what they feel about the case as their judgment. Let's now say 2 of them believe that Atiku no get case. 2 agree that Atiku has proven his case. Tinubu should be disqualified and the election should be cancelled, blah, 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 like that, You see, that is 2-2. The guy in the middle, which happened to be their leader, will now have to break the tie. He will now have to choose a side. He will write his own judgment too. So if his own judgment says Atiku didn't prove his case, he will just match it with those who said same. So it will now be a decision 3-2. Decision 3-2 means Atiku have lost. Now let me use Peter Obi as an example too. It's the same scenario. 5 justices. Okay? So let's say if the 5 justices now comes back and say Peter Obi has proven his case beyond reasonable doubt, and now they want to answer his prayers. What are the prayers of Peter Obi? is asking that he scored the highest number of votes. He also satisfied the constitutional requirement of 2/3 states and FCT. Okay? And at the same time, he said he should be declared winner and be sworn in as president. That's his first prayer. His other prayers were Tinubu should be disqualified based on the forgery and other criminal what have you against him. Also, INEC should be held responsible for violating their own rules during the game. Therefore, INEC should be compelled to follow their own rules and declare Peter Obi as winner by, releasing all the documents that they never released anyway. So it's only Peter Obi that is asking the court to declare him winner and to be sworn in case if they have not told you that. I know they are telling you he didn't prove anything in court. He didn't blah, 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 blah. You were seeing all those boxes of result and evidence and all those documents, Abi. But you, as Lagos Abobaku Olori Pangolo, empty skull, you go about and said he didn't prove anything. There's no case. He only said he went there. He didn't even challenge the result. Blah, 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 blah. You are telling yourself, Abi. It happened. Even Atiku is asking for a rerun. The rerun that Atiku is asking for is that Tinubu must not be part of that. Because Tinubu must be disqualified. Something that he has in common with Peter Obi. Peter Obi said in his own case that he actually scored over 10 million votes. That's what he went to prove to them there. But your media and the rest of them will probably never focus on that. And possibly your judges too won't care. He went there to show to them how much of his own vote they were reduced across Nigeria, that if they even add that to what they declared to, for him, right, it will not only win in landslide, Tinubu and Atiku, they will be nowhere close to even challenge him in court for that election. That's why he went to prove that. So now, if they come back and they say, Baba, their judgment out of 5 of them, they come back and say unanimously, Peter Obi has proved this case. He has won. They would have to declare him the winner and should be sworn in as your president, which won't happen. Because Olukayode, CJN of Nigeria, they are waiting at the Supreme Court. That is the final destination anyway. But if the 5 of them also come back and they said, no, Obi no prove anything, he no even get case, na nonsense case. Oh yeah. And they returned there, Tinubu has said Tinubu has fulfilled everything and is the winner, unanimous. On the third scenario is that if they come back and they say, okay, 2 of them agreed that Peter Obi actually won. The other 2 agreed that the election get 40, but Peter Obi no to prove am. So therefore, they cannot throw out the case. Now, 2 be that. The man at the center, one man to break the tie, can then say, if his own judgment says, Peter Obi proved this case, he will join those 2 other 2. If his own judgment says Peter Obi no prove anything, he will join the other 2 too. Now that would be 3 against 2. That means the media houses in Nigeria, you know what would be the headline? Tinubu defeated Atiku and Obi at the tribunal because they couldn't prove their case. And that is what the media will spread. And that is exactly the picture I am seeing. And I don't know how angry or controlled your rage will be. I don't know. I know a lot of people are kind of thinking you don't exist. You are just noisemakers. And I've told you before, a day when Peter Obi will not be able to tell you to stop and you will stop is almost here. That day is almost here. When they rigged you saw the rigging. It was so amateurish, unprofessional. And when I say amateur, it was so criminally done that it looks so shameful, kind of. They can't even rig in 2023. Rig election that will make people begin to question what happened. And they say, okay, come and prove the rigging. Ordinary person will get any smartphone in Nigeria today, have evidence of Nigeria election rigging. But yet you're asking for evidence. Yeah, bring evidence. Where evidence? Where evidence? They couldn't even do it right. There are a lot of you were so angry. You were so angry. So disappointed that Peter Obi told you he was going to go to court to go and prove it. Prove it with who? These criminals? The day is closed. It's just 13 days gone to any. If we say 14 days, we are actually counting the 16th of September, which happened to be a Saturday. They won't go to court on Saturday. I mean, I won't think they will go to court on Saturday. The 16th of September is the last day that they have to deliver a judgment. Or there is no judgment. May everybody go Supreme Court. Sure you get. So before Nigeria, before those who are going to give one reason or the reasons everybody's been looking for a lot of time to actually show to the world that this fraudulently forced together country is actually not a country. Do you understand? And maybe this is going to be the time. It is kind of looking like it's not a good time for the West, not a good time for the political class and the elite in Nigeria, for Nigeria to be destabilized at this time. And that is why the judiciary is afraid. What's going to happen in Nigeria if the judiciary followed INEC and followed all these criminal politicians to perfect and legitimize the state capture and trample upon your 1999 constitution? The trashy book I have told you many times. My ego don't talk like that. That's the constitution of Nigeria. Now you write constitution of a country is written through a referendum. If you have a country with over 200 ethnic nationalities, and you have a country with over 500 languages, then a few people sat in a room. They wrote a book and they call it We the People of Nigeria. No, we didn't write that. So we shouldn't be respecting any goddamn thing they wrote inside that thing. If they didn't use the force of arm, guns, threat of loss of liberty or death on us, you shouldn't be respecting that trashy book. They don't have respect for it. They want you to respect that book. That trashy Abdusalami Abubakar's book called 1999 Constitution. They don't respect it. So when they finally kill it, which they have done already, when they finally kill it, they want to hold you responsible for it, and I don't know how it's going to play out. You've heard this too. I mean, the crisis of what do you call it in Congo DR, Congo Democratic Republic. It's democratic nonsense. Well, the National Guard or Republican Guard, those who are protecting the presidential seats of that country, protecting the criminal president there, who publicly threatened his own people, I will kill all of you. If you try this, I will kill you and nothing will happen. And they say, hey, Baba, that is Congo. An area called Goma, where from record, they have been suffering from the, well, you know that. They have been suffering from the criminality or the terrorism of the stealing of their own resources, their mineral resources in Congo DR. So the people in that, the people from that part of Africa decided to stage a protest. That protest happened to be on asking the United Nations peacekeeping this force, French this force, America, all these forces that are there pretending to be providing security for these Africans in that their region, but they have never known any single peace for decades. So they want them gone because the purpose is this. They were actually providing security for those who are looting and stealing their resources, like in Nigeria, terrorizing the people, killing them. Goma is the place. I'll show you where that place be. 40 people have been killed in that part of Africa, and that is in Congo DR. So when Nigeria begin to kill our own citizens that are also going to resist this kind of democracy, state capture, dictatorial democracy, forced on people who probably have no choice, they will say, Nigeria is tilting towards that same. I'm going to take you to that Goma in Congo DR. More search for that. If you say Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. Watch out. Now that's a small, I mean, that's a big region, if you want to put it, right? Let's see if I turn it into a 3D. Right. Now, see how populated the area be. That is a Congo DR. The resources of this area should have made them one of the richest or the richest place on earth. You see this area where you have some of these mountains with a different kind of mining going on. The resources are not for them, but the peace they won't have, the resources of their land they won't have, the government of their country who serves the interest, mostly the interest of the imperialists, as you will say, Africa. I don't know. Goma, which is Angon. Yep. Now, what happened there just yesterday? Why they were protesting? Before the protest, listen to their president. I mean, it's kind of in French.
Has to do with the issue.
That's a different one. But let's take a bit of a slowdown, okay? Let's go back there.
Je m'attaquerai sans hésitation, sans remords, à tout Congolais qui mettrait en danger la sécurité et la stabilité de notre pays. Peu importe ce qu'on en dira, violation des droits de l'homme, privation de liberté, je n'en démordrai pas. Parce que démocrate je suis, démocrate je resterai. Je n'ai aucune leçon à recevoir de qui que ce soit dans ce domaine. J'ai la charge de protéger et de garantir le bien-être de tous les Congolais, de quelque bord politique qu'ils soient, religieux ou autres idéologiques, et donc je ne lésinerai sur aucun moyen pour remplir ma mission du mieux que ce soit. C'est l'histoire et Dieu qui me jugeront. Je m'attaquerai sans...
It would not hesitate for those who are going to be singing human rights, it will do all within his power. It was addressing these particular people. And for them resisting, the soldiers he sent to them to break their protest. For resisting alone, I won't be able to show you the videos of the shooting. That would be kind of violating this platform's normal, what they call their normal rules and guidelines, whatever. So, but let's take a look at when they are now taking all the bodies away, which is not graphic, by the way, but just so you see, for the optics sake, that happened in Congo DR, a supposed democratic country, yeah? And then an elected president, supposedly, right? Well, it's not new. It is irregular in Nigeria, okay?
Hey, on asas, on.
Those are human beings, harmless protesters. The battalion of soldiers, battle-ready soldiers. I'm talking about like war-ready soldiers were sent to those communities. The unfortunate people who got caught up in the crossfires, on the crossfire, their bodies, mutilated bodies, bullet-riddled bodies, they are being moved to go and dump them in some probably grave, a shallow grave somewhere to teach the rest of them. Don't try to challenge us. If you challenge us, we'll kill you. Okay? Leave all the peacekeepers alone. Leave them and let them continue to do whatever they are doing there and stop complaining. Right? But the day you hear the breaking news, they have removed Ishegeri Abi, whatever his name is, they will say democracy is in danger. Democratic dictators slaughtering their own people, killing them for any reason they can guess, just any reason at all. And that's regular in Africa. I hope, the wind of other coup going on will further get rid of these rogues. It's not going to save anyone anyway, but I'm just saying, you just don't know what is lurking around the corner. You don't. I don't. And a lot of them are making serious changes. In Nigeria, listen to the NLC that got deceived the last time when they said they wanted to fight for the subsidy remover, the hardship of the subsidy remover. Their man is now talking about how he got scammed, and at the same time, how they continue to lie. There are 3 weeks when they said they wanted to review how they are going to manage this subsidy remover, pay some people, or whatever. The 3 weeks, the committee put together by Tinubu to review the subsidy removal nonsense, they no meet. No single meeting for... Anyway, listen to the guy.
You can see it clearly that this is a class war. Between us, the dispossessed, and those that have to continue to have. Whether you call it the issue of subsidy or the new attack by the despot Wike to drive the poor out of Abuja, it is still the extension of that war. It is a war, whereby they tell you that you are building in a place that is not part of the master plan. And the master plan is only known to them. The master plan is in their pocket. And when you are building, they won't tell you it's not complying with the master plan. And they will wake up, demolish your house. And the NLC is saying that those structures are not illegal structures. Those structures should be legalized. Those areas they are demolishing, unless you have an alternative, there is no area they marked out, either quarter plot or half plot, for the poor to live in Abuja. And when the poor manage to get a small shelter, it is being demolished on a daily basis. It is a war against the poor. And I wouldn't know, with the havoc Wike caused in Rivers State, and the number of people that died as a result of shock, if he continues it in Abuja, the number of people that Adolf Hitler killed under the gas chambers will be a child's play. The number of people that will die because of shock over the demolition of their buildings. Some of them are using their pension, their last cover, to erect such buildings. So, if he doesn't check it, because the moment he came here, he started destroying people's properties. I have not seen that level of wickedness being performed against the Nigerian poor. The issue of attack on the office of the National Union of Road Transport Employees is an extension of this war. A democratically elected trade union functionaries. And you send police to attack them and bring non-members to claim that they are the caretaker committee leaders. What is happening there is worse than the coup in Niger. Nigerian government should concentrate on the illegalities, on the level of fascism being practiced in Nigeria than talking about the coup and removal of democratically elected government in Gabon and Niger Republic, when they are removing democratically elected people in Nigeria internally. So I think we should check ourselves, check the level of attack on the poor, on trade unionists, and the masses. Now we go to the issue of the subsidy, so-called subsidy removal. They said it was by market forces. and they didn't have time to prepare a palliative for us. The first one came, 500 and something. The next one came, market forces, 600 and something. And we met with the government, and they promised to do something to conclude action within 8 weeks. Today is almost 12 weeks. Nothing has happened, comrades. And there was a further attempt by the same market forces to move it to 700. And we warned market forces, say, if you move it, we are going to meet with you. And behold, the spokesperson of Mr. President came out to attack us that we don't know what we are saying. Comrades, is the spokesperson of Mr. President the market force? Is he the market forces? And up to now, nothing has happened. The National Assembly, thank you very much, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Labor walked in where I was trying to talk. Thank you very much for identifying with us. The National Assembly intervened and said we should give them 1 week. Within 1 week, we met with the Senate President, and he had promised to meet with the President so that they can look at all these issues. Between that time and now, we have not gotten any word from the Senate President. Comrades, we are left rudderless. We are left helpless. The level of despondency is so much. And the announcement we got about the 5 billion allocated to the states is so annoying that you allocate 5 billion to states and how many 5 trucks of rice. If you share 5 trucks of rice to a local government, they won't get one cup. If we had accept the position of the Bureau of Statistics that we have 133 million Nigerians that are multidimensionally poor before the subsidy removal, and after the subsidy removal, the number must have increased or doubled. Those are the fringes became poor overnight. But even if we were to take it without argument, and you multiply 5 billion by 36 states and Abuja, you get about 185 billion. If you divide it by 133 million people that are multidimensionally poor, you won't get up to 1,500 naira. Is that a palliative?
Àtisebo, àtisete, àtisete, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisete, òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisete, òtítete, kágbádé fálárì, àtisete, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àtisete, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisete, àtisete, òtìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisete, àtisete, èdò gbówó mi ń tẹ́, àtisete, àtisete, ètisete, àtisete, ìjà ń jà aráàlú.
Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so...
It's unfair. This is unfair. I agree. But that was the NSC chairman explaining to his comrades how they have swindled them, how they have played them, and with what he is already seeing, the shege just they starts. Make you not they believe whatever they tell you. 12 weeks, see. You think they are working behind the scene to work on the palliative for you, to work on how to improve the economy because of the subsidy. You are thinking that, Abi? High right. High right. The guy has seen it enough, and probably he had no idea of, he had no understanding of how he's going to kind of relay back to all of you. You are done for. They are sharing rice now. Remember the story of Eleye of Ogun, dubious Dapo of Ogun, that is accused of diverting 17 billion naira of the local government money. That's the first part. There's another 52 billion naira local government money that this same dubious Dapo has also diverted. 69 billion naira Ogun State local government money missing. Not missing, spent. Where the guy just came out now and he said he's going to give 300,000 bags of rice to the people of Ogun State, after ensuring that DSS arrest the local government chairman that accused him of stealing 69 billion naira local government money. You would expect the DSS to come out and publish how much money was shared by the local government areas in Ogun State since 2009, when Dubious Dakpo became their governor. But ladies and gentlemen, with 5 kg rice, we can put all of that behind us. He said he's going to share 300,000 of that bag as the subsidy remover. Of course, he has received his own 2 billion from the 5 billion that Kolu said he's going to give to every state. He's received the 2 billion. But, you know, that's a scam, right? The local government chairman of Ijebu East has been arrested by the DSS. He has been locked up since last night. And they are going to charge him to court. And they're going to charge him to court for wrongly accusing the state governor of diverting money without investigating. They are not EFCC, you know, without giving us any evidence of the money given to local government areas in Ogun State since 2009 by Dubious Dakpo. There's so much in the offing, right? Talking about the fascist. It's all similar as well, you know. It's a bit similar to that of Tinubu. I graduated from the Chicago State University. Baba, you no need to tell us story. Just when you know you graduated from Chicago State University, why you can't go submit fake results, fake certificates? How come you never submitted your primary school, secondary school results? So some of you make I tell you, to be the president of Nigeria, maybe you don't know. Now just primary school certificate you need. Primary school certificate is what you need to be president of Nigeria. To be employed as a gatesman in Nigeria of today, some people will have to ask you for your secondary school certificate. Do I employ you as a gateman? Imagine employing the CEO of your company with primary school certificates, and you're like, because I know, say, God born him to do the job. Certificate is just a paper. That's exactly what you have in your country. He didn't have any of that. I swear, Allah, I swear to God, I went to Chicago State University. But why you can't present fake certificates? Who are your mates? You know, get colleagues? Is similar to when they brought this guy, Wale Edun, the one that is now singing the different praises on the economy of Nigeria. I mean, he's been honest. He was honest recently, right? When he said that the last time Nigeria has a stable exchange rate was 2014, 2015. That means before APC, Egbekegbe came to power, Wale Edun confirmed that, you know what I mean? Nigeria used to have a stable exchange rate. But Wale Edun, Tinubu's publisher, is now the Minister of Finance in Nigeria and the one in charge of the economy of Nigeria. The one that told you that they will not borrow a dime to revive Nigeria economy after they have already borrowed over $6 billion that they didn't tell you, by the way, or you didn't care to even notice, Abi. Well, Wale Edun, probably, you know, now the guy did that. Is the head of the publishing newspaper, Tinubu's newspaper, The Nation. Now from there, then promote him to be your finance minister to come and help them finish you as soon as possible. Wale Edun with Layamo throwback.
Honourable Minister, last week, Vintage Press came under attack. And it shows once again a hazard of this profession, media and journalism. We know that media people, journalists, suffer all kinds of indignities as a result of carrying out their legitimate activities, beaten, brutalized, harassed, sometimes in prison, tortured, and even killed. Last week, last Wednesday, 21st of October to be precise, these premises where we produce our titles and bring them came.
Finance minister, about go wear suits. can't look like a corporate, what have you. They can't go dust in CV. Now then they know, say, he's a greatest accountant. He's a special Kiniko in 1929. He was the one who drafted Kiniko in 1930. Wale Edu is a brilliant economist from 1955. He was the one who shaped and help America. All those nonsense. Baba can't wear suits. Can't they quote numbers? Or now they want to rescue Nigeria. By the time all of the initial gra finally settles, you go know the hand of the scammers where una don't enter. You know different from that of Umahi. Umahi is going everywhere now. He is going to complete Lagos Ibadan Expressway. By the middle of September. Completed. They are going to do Ondo to Ekiti road with concrete, very concrete road. They are going to build and make sure that the journey between Lagos, they're going to build a road that between Lagos and Abuja. If you are going to if you are coming from Lagos, you are going to Abuja, 4 hours, Abuja. If you are coming from Abuja going to Lagos, 4 hours, straight, Abuja to Lagos, 4 hours. Baba, what Umayi was saying is that, like those who came with Bokwari at the time, Umayi is saying that, waiting they won't do, the Nigeria way they won't build for you, you go the speed 187 miles per hour. From Abuja, the road is going to be so good that you go they do 185 miles per hour. And within 4 hours, you go reach Lagos. 715 kilometers driving. That's what Umayis told them in Lagos. So we are building this. We came with this structure, this idea. You forgot the 1 million housing by a Minister of Homelessness. Is Aleko Barack Obama, Abioshodi, Ajangbadi, Albert Einstein, Fashola, the one that was going to build you. Remember, you see, the reason why you don't have electricity in Nigeria is because the Bantu Eyos are those behind the electricity generation in Nigeria. You see, to generate electricity in Nigeria, let me give you an idea. You just bring in, you see that you are a better past my neighbor generator. It's like bringing 1,000 of that. 1,000 of your better past my neighbor generator. That is 1,000 megawatt electricity. Period. The same way, Fashola became the Minister of Darkness, potholes, and homelessness in Nigeria for 4 years and 8 years. 4. At the end of the day, when he's gone, what is the legacy of Fashola? What? Okay, Umayi just came on board. They are already telling you things you want to hear everywhere. Nigerians must not queue for passport. That must end. This is nonsense. We must work for Nigerians. Passports, if you want Nigeria passport, you get story. We don't want corruption here. I want to let you know, I came here to work for Mr. President Oloshi. You came to sell land with a wicked. He won't sell land too, Abi. All this initial gra to make it look like something is happening. They are working. You see the breaking news. Did you hear what they just said? Education loan. Did you hear what they just said? I give them last warning. All the terrorists in Nigeria, I give you last warning. This is your last warning. President Boko and President Tinubu. All these things will come down and every one of you will begin to feel your shege regularly. You better begin to fight back because nobody is going to fight for you. No. There's no Moses coming from anywhere. Nobody is coming to rescue anybody. In fact, if there is any motivation you need right now, you don't need any motivational speaker telling you about to aspire to, aspire to perspire. Perspire to Maguire. Acquire to Macquire. Acquire to then disappear. And all those motivational speeches that they tell. No, you don't need acquire to Maguire. The people of Birni Magaji. Yeah, it's called Birni Magaji. Now, Zamfara people. A lot of stories you hear from Zamfara is that if it is not the terrorists who are kind of mining gold, killing the inhabitants of the land, it is about them being kidnapped or chased to the refugee camps called the IDP camps in northern Nigeria. They've always been the victims for years. He got to a stage, one of Bokwari's Minister of Defense actually said, why are they running away from the bandits? Face them. When we were younger, if bandits or terrorists come, we fight them, we face them, blah, 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 blah. You don't need any motivational speaker with what you are facing in Nigeria today anymore. Just visit the people of Ebrini Magaji for the first time. They fought back. Terrorists came to their village. As usual. They kidnapped those they could kidnap. Then they sent a letter to the village and said, listen, guys, ransom new. Ransom new. You have to pay ransom. If you want to see your families again, you have to pay ransom. Or else we are taking them to the market tomorrow with our cows, where we are selling people off as a slave. In case if you don't know, bring a ransom new. Period. But instead of the village to go around and start collecting ransom from themselves to go and pay their family members, their own loved ones kidnapped by the terrorists in Zamfara. That was 3 days ago. 3 days ago. But I am happy to tell you today because the story has changed. What happened? They didn't pay ransom. They mobilized themselves and they went straight into the bush and they kidnapped the wives of the terrorists. Now the negotiation right now is where is going to be the drop-off point. Nobody's talking about ransom anymore. It's about the drop-off point. Come and collect your wife. Okay, you two, where do you want us to meet? Come and collect your family members we kidnapped. Nobody is coming to fight for anybody. I just thought that should motivate you if you are looking for one. About giving one motivational this thing, I take and maintain body. My body, they feel somehow. I say, well, read about the people of Ebrini Magaji in Zamfara. That's a very good win for them. Government don't even participate. No soldier, no nothing. They just leave them. Newspapers say, well, we are discussing the drop-off point now. Not ransom drop-off point anymore. So to those who are saying, the people should stop talking. They should stand up and fight. I think people just need a reason to fight. The people of Ebrini Magaji, they have been probably looking for a reason to fight. They finally found one 3 days ago. They fought. They won. Now, they are negotiating on the same level with the terrorists who took their family members. Maybe the judiciary will be your own reason, to fight. I have said this many times. If you are looking forward to somebody calling out to say, yeah, let us go and fight, it's not going to happen in Nigeria of today anymore because it won't work. It's going to be spontaneous. And these guys are those who are going to push you to do that. You will do it. You will do a lot of things that you'd never see yourself do. Never. When they finally push you to that stage, I'm not rushing you. You're almost there. Almost there. You know? Ebrini Magaji, read about them. Write about them. They are enough motivation for a lot of you who have been looking for one. How can we fight? Mayegun, just relax. Read about the Ebrini Magaji people. They had to face their fear. And I bet it. The next time all these terrorists goes out on their escapades, they will avoid bringing Magaji. And just like they did in Egypt when they said that the angel of death was killing all the firstborn. They say, mark your house. Mark this house. And the beast of death will pass. No be so? I'm just saying, so just that there are people who have known and realized that in Nigeria of today, nobody is coming to fight for you. Remember that. Going forward. Oh, hang on. I've already done 2 hours. Right, I was thinking I should keep going, but I was going to take calls. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take calls, all right? But before we do that, I want to say thank you to a lot of you, all of you who actually responded last night when I brought our guest. We had to present the program in Yoruba, by the way. So from last night to this morning, especially all of you who actually donated and supported us through the Naira account. I have received a report that between last night and this morning, we're actually able to raise over 1 million naira last night. And from my own end, to those of you who actually sent your contribution through the PayPal and then a give send go, right? Also, awesome. Thank you. Because from my own end, we have been able to say, okay, we have raised over 600 pounds right now. Now, 600 pounds in Nigeria is probably like 700,000 naira now, or 650,000 naira. So which means between last night and this morning, to those of you who are so generous enough to turn up, we've probably raised over 1,600,000, 1,700,000 naira, nearly 2 million naira. that will go a long way, but we will still need the support. Just thought I should say thank you to all of you for being there, as always. So I'm going to make another tea. And when I get back, I'll take calls, okay? We'll have a chat for like another 15 minutes, then we'll go to bed. But if you think you want to go now, remember, like this broadcast. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the broadcast, share it, And I will see you again. Don't go anywhere if you want to call in, by the way.